can't see. I see you. I don't see the students.
Okay. Let me see. Open up. I wonder if I go dark. Let me see if I take my camera off. Then maybe see if they'll pop up. Did they populate up?
No, it's just an image now.
Is it just one you see, or do you see Miss Marquez by chance?
It's a man and a woman in where is that? Is that Rome or
Oh, yeah, that's me. Yes.
okay?
Yeah. That was Italy. We were in Rome. That's me and my husband. I was trying to see if you see our other class, but I'm not sure why you can't see them. We could see you. Could Miss Marquez's class? Are you able to see Mr. Haylock? Thumbs up. Yes.
Yes.
Oh, there they are. Hey, what's up,
Yeah.
guys?
So we just needed to speak.
Good to see you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Okay. All right. Well, now that I can see all of your faces, we can go ahead and get started. Okay. Show of hands. Who likes sports? A lot of sports people. Okay. Who favorite teams? Let me hear some of your favorite teams. Who are your favorite teams? 49ers. That's what I'm talking about. He gets extra points. I don't know who said that, but they get extra points. Who else? 49ers. Who else? Raiders. Rams. LA Galaxy. All right. Soccer in the house. Any basketball fans? Anybody like basketball? Golden State Warriors.
I had to go for the Warriors.
Clippers. Okay. Most of you have never seen the Lakers win. I get it. I understand. There's an age gap here. All right. Well, my name is Rahshaun Haylock. I'm a sports reporter for KTLA Channel 5. And I'm also a play-by-play announcer for the LA Sparks of the WNBA. That's women's basketball. And so tell you a little bit about myself. When I was, you guys are all what, 4th, 5th grade, right? So when I was your age, I was pretty fortunate enough to know what I wanted to do, what I wanted to be when I grew up. I was a big Lakers fan as a kid. You see all this Lakers stuff behind me. There's like another Laker picture up there. I was a big time Laker fan. So whenever the Lakers would come on, they came on. I didn't have cable growing up as a kid, so I could only see the Lakers when they were on Channel 9 because all the road games came on Channel 9. And their announcer, his name was Chick Hearn. And then that's this guy right here. He was their longtime announcer. So anytime the Laker games would come on, you would hear and see Chick Hearn. And so I used to love listening to him. So anytime he came on TV, I would sit down right in front of the TV and listen and memorize all the things that he said. So I knew all the stuff about the Lakers, and I could tell you all their stats and their numbers and where they went to college and all these things. And I just love, and it wasn't just the Lakers, it was pretty much like all of sports. But Chick Hearn was the one that really, kind of got me into it. And so growing up, I played sports a little bit, was never really any good. Hence me going the broadcast route. And so I went to college. I went to Cal State Northridge, and there I studied broadcast journalism for 4 years. And then I got what was called an internship. Now it's different for you because now we have to pay you all. But when I was coming out of college, an internship was basically like, I'm going to hire you to do work for free. And that's what it was. And I did that at Channel 9. And then they ended up hiring me to do some production work. I would like produce some of their sports shows and things of that nature. And so after that, I ended up working for Fox Sports West. Any of you guys like high school football? Anybody high school football? Okay, so I did I did a bunch of Lusinger High School games, Lawndale High School games, Hawthorne High School games. That's kind of where I got started, and then I worked for Fox Sports West and was doing high school sports for them. And so during the pandemic, I lost everything, all my jobs, everything I had. I lost everything. Everything kind of went away, and so I was kind of searching and scrambling, and fortunately, I was able to get hired at KTLA Channel 5, and that's been a game changer. So I work over at Channel 5. I'm a sports reporter for them, and then I'm also a play-by-play announcer for the LA Sparks. And so as a sports reporter at Channel 5, I get to go out to different sporting events. I get to talk to different athletes. I get to talk to, different coaches. So who's some of your favorite players? LeBron? Devin Booker. Okay. So because LeBron plays for the Lakers and we cover the Lakers, I've had an opportunity to interview LeBron a couple times. Maybe one of my favorite guys to interview all time was Kobe Bryant, late Kobe Bryant. I got to interview him a bunch when I was growing up, and I was able to ask him a bunch of questions. And he was always a good guy to me. He always treated me very well. I know some of you guys like the Rams, like Aaron Donald, right? You guys like him? I was able to interview him a few times. And so so any of you guys watch TV, and any of you watch the news? You watch the sports on the news? A little bit sometimes. Yeah, neither did I until I started working there. It's okay. So when the sports come on, you see the sports reporters? No. So what is this? What does the sports reporter do? Does anybody know what a sports reporter does?
Ask questions. They ask questions.
Ask questions. Okay. So if I was an athlete, what type of question would you ask me?
How much made you be a basketball? How much games you won?
How much what?
Games you won? How many games have you won?
How many games have you won? Okay.
What inspired you to play that? How many championship rings do you have?
How many championship rings have I won? Okay, good. So those are all good questions. So basically, I get to be inquisitive, right? So if there's something that I want to know, if there's a question that I want to ask that I want to know the answer to, then I get to ask these players. Sometimes they like the question I ask. Sometimes they don't like the questions that I ask. But I still get to ask them these questions, and then I file reports to be able for them to play on the news later that night. So I have some clips here. Does anybody have any questions first? Well, here, let me show you some clips first, and then we can continue. So let me see how I can do this. Can you guys see that? No.
Is it allowing you to share screen?
I think so, but no, it's not allowing me to share a screen.
You should be able to. Just 1 second. Do you have that box on the bottom with the arrow, or?
Yeah, the box with the arrow coming up.
And when you click on it, what does it say? Does it say doesn't allow?
It says present now your entire screen.
You could either do a entire screen, or you could do does it give you a tab option or a window, or you could do entire screen?
Yeah, but it doesn't allow me to select share.
Oh, because when you go open it, your picture will show up in that box. Click on that box that shows your entire screen, and then share will.
Oh, okay.
There you go.
All right. So can you see? What do you see right now?
I see a guy with the blazer on.
At the hockey rink. All right. All right. So I'm going to play this right now, and I have a couple more clips to play for you.
Oh, really? That's
Okay, look. They went. They got the split. Able to come back home with this thing tied up 1-1. But the Oilers had other ideas. They ran it back to the exact same tune tonight. Another 6-goal win. And let's just say after this one, head coach Todd McClellan of the Kings wasn't in the best of moods.
You know what? We could do this really quick tonight. And summarize it all up for you. We can all go home. We're good. We're really disappointed. We got trapped playing their game. You can ask me about individuals. I'll give you the same answer for all of them. They weren't any good. And we have to regroup tomorrow. Grunny didn't play because he had an injury. Anybody have anything else? Good night.
So I was almost that dude bold enough to ask another question, but Darren, I gotta be honest with you, I didn't want the smoke. At crypto.com arena, Rahshaun Haylock will send it back to you.
Good decision.
He's pretty good at that.
So did you all see that?
Yeah.
Okay, so could you hear it?
Yes.
Okay, so that coach was very angry after the game, right? His team lost, and he basically was saying, "Don't ask me any questions." Right? Sometimes you deal with that. Sometimes you ignore what they have to say. You ask questions anyhow. That time, I wasn't willing to take that chance. Any of you watch hockey?
No. I played hockey. I was in the Little League.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you something about hockey. It's kind of tough to watch on TV, but if you ever go in person, it's really, really, really fun. But that's a part of being a sports reporter, right? You have to cover all sports. It's not just basketball and football or basketball, football, baseball, or soccer. It's pretty much everything, right? So you kind of have to be well versed on a bunch of different things. So that was what you call a live shot. So you had the guy back at the studio, and I was at crypto.com arena. That was for a Kings playoff game a couple of weeks ago. And so he sent it out to me, and I was able to do a report to tell him what happened there at the game, to kind of describe what happened at the game for him and for everybody else who was watching us on TV, on Channel 5. Now, so that's work that I do for Channel 5. So let me show you something now that from the LA Sparks. 1 second here. All right, can you see that? Like a city? Okay, here we go. For the second and final time this month, the Sparks will take the crypto.com arena floor. This time in a matchup of two of the original 8, the Phoenix Mercury and the Los Angeles Sparks. Next. And of course, then alongside Ross Gordon-Woode, I'm Rahshaun Haylock, and Ross's team returned from the road. They're preaching patience, but also it's a team that hasn't practiced since training camp.
Yeah, and that's a big deal. They've had 6 of their 7 games on the road. There hasn't really been a chance for them to get in the gym and work on plays and continuity and the chemistry that's needed when you have a bunch of new faces. So absolutely some patience, but the Sparks need to now turn some of those lessons into their first home win here, and hopefully today.
And tonight against the Mercury, we're going to have a matchup in the paint between Liz Cambage and Tina Charles.
Yeah, these are 2 of the best things in the entire world. And with Liz Cambage, I'm really enjoying watching her grow in versatility and comfort in playing alongside Nneka Ogwumike in the front court and giving the Sparks that strength. For Tina Charles, someone who has the counter moves, the finesse, the footwork, can play from different ranges. And obviously with the Mercury not having Brittany Griner, they are going to lean on Tina Charles more.
How would you like to be Jordan Canada? A little over a week ago, playing her very first home game in the Sparks uniform, then going to the Pacific Northwest to take on her former mates. Tonight, on the opposite sideline, her old high school coach.
That's right. Jordan Canada has enjoyed being the hometown kid. And every time she's back in LA, there's these heartwarming stories of reunions. But I've enjoyed seeing her really blossom and come into her own as the premier point guard option. She's a point guard that can score the ball. She's shown she's not afraid of taking the big shot and coming up clutch.
Another hometown kid, Don Lugo High.
Oh,
all right, so that's me working for the Sparks. So in the beginning of the broadcast, we have like our open, and that's kind of where we set up the matchup. We tell everybody who's playing and who are some of the players to watch out for. And so, did anything stick out from there from that clip that you watched? Did you see the dog behind us?
Yeah.
So that's a part of being on TV, right? Sometimes you have to focus. It's not always going to be Sparky, the nice mascot behind you sometimes. And I'm sure you probably seen people do this, right? Sometimes people go behind the camera, they start doing jumping jacks, they run behind you, they want to run around because everybody wants to be on TV, right? And so they do things. And so you got to make sure you can't get distracted. You continue to kind of do your job. And so that's just kind of a part of it, right? So every time we do a basketball game, we'll do that in the open. We'll set up the matchup. We'll tell you who the two teams are, and then we'll kind of show you some players to watch out for and sort of what they did in their last game. One other clip for you. Any? All right, here's one more clip, and then we can get to some questions.
A loopsy pass in front of Sam Davis. That's what she was known for at Arizona, her defense.
Saw Vegas play some zone against the Sparks. The Mercury doing Brown trying to get his own buster there, knocking down her second triple up court.
Lexi Brown absolutely took advantage of them switching to the zone. Made a play for giving her the gap.
Diggins off the deflection in the hands of Brown. Sparks looking to run. Lexi and against DT. Campaigns lets traffic clear. Finds Carter underneath.
Nice find there. You said she's a willing passer. There's noise. As soon as she catches it, she's not going a million miles per hour. This campaign holds it high where she can keep it from others and lets the play develop. Also, Kennedy Carter does a nice job of moving without the ball and hustling. And then against the zone, Lexi Brown busts it. Carter, moving without the ball, still finishes a tough shot. Now, Turner's a nice rim defender inside.
That last foul charge to Brianna Turner, her first. Here's Slim going off the double hop. Pulls up mid-range. That one too long, but the rebound is tipped into the hands of Brown in the corner. She heaves it up near half court. Slim is there. 9 to shoot for LA. Carter thought about the three. Taurasi giving her space. Now takes the long two. And it's still gets it the ball.
All right, so you've all have watched games and watched games on TV, whether it be soccer games, football games, basketball games, or whatnot. So that's just kind of an opportunity of an example of things that I do for the Sparks during Sparks games. So the Sparks play tonight, which is part of the reason why I couldn't be there. I would have liked to be there with you guys, but they have shoot around this morning, so I'm going to be headed there in just a little bit. So that's just kind of an example of things so we do all the Sparks games on Spectrum Sportsnet. That's the same station that the Lakers come on. And then I work over at Channel 5 as a sports reporter as well. And so just an idea. So growing up, a lot of people played sports. I tried to play a little bit. It wasn't any good, as I told you guys earlier on. But, being able to be a part, there's a lot of things that you can do. If you love sports, like I did growing up, there's a lot of things that you can do in sports that don't actually involve being able, to actually play, right? So there's broadcasting, there's coaching, there's things like being an athletic trainer or a team doctor. You can work for a team like on the PR staff where you help the team set up interviews for you help different TV stations, different outlets, newspapers, what have you, set up interviews for the players, or you provide information to members of the media for things that they can do to help with their coverage. So there's a lot of different roads, a lot of different avenues that you can go into in sports that don't actually involve you actually playing the game. And so reporting, broadcasting, journalism, that's just one of those avenues and ways that you can go. You guys have any questions?
No. Rayon City sucks. Rayon City sucks. Who inspired you to do what you do?
Who inspired me to do what I do? Well, growing up, it was the Lakers announcer, Chick Hearn. I used to watch Jim Hill a lot. He's the sports reporter over at Channel 2. He was someone who inspired me a lot growing up. And then also my dad was a big inspiration for me because he's the one who kind of, introduced me to sports. So, us watching games and stuff together, when I was a kid, that was kind of big. That was big for me. Yes.
Have you ever reported for baseball?
Baseball? Yes. So I've reported Dodgers. This opening day, I was down there for Angels. For Shohei Ohtani, everybody loves him right now. He's a big two-way sensation in baseball, doing a lot of things that we've never seen before. So was down there covering him for opening day because he started as a pitcher and then he was in the lineup hitting as well. But I've covered a bunch of Dodger games as well in my career. And then also, not just, Major League Baseball, but also college baseball, high school baseball as well, too. Any other questions?
No, that's all I need to.
Nice.
What's the strangest answer one of your questions has gotten?
Strangest answer. That's a good question. Strangest answer one of my questions has gotten. Well, I don't know. I wouldn't say it's necessarily strange, but it just kind of went off on a tangent, right? So I asked one of the players, was one of the players jumps really, one of the Sparks players is able to jump, really high. And so I asked her, was that natural or is that something that she, sort of worked on, growing up? And her answer to me was it kind of came natural, but then she gave me like all these other things that she was involved in growing up as a kid. She was involved in bowling. Then she was also involved in archery. I don't know if you guys know what archery is, but that's like where you take the bow and arrow and and you shoot it at, whether it's a piece of wood or whatnot. And so she said she was actually very good at archery, growing up. So I think that was a little strange. That just happened about a week or so ago.
Kaden?
Have you ever reported soccer?
Have I ever reported soccer? So yeah, I've done sideline reporting for a soccer game, but I don't believe I've ever done soccer at Channel 5. Not yet, at least. But I want to go. I would like to cover an LAFC game, particularly an LAFC game when they play the Galaxy. That's kind of something that I would like to do.
Galaxy.
Yes.
What is one of your favorite answers that you got in from the team?
One of my favorite answers, probably during the Super Bowl, I interviewed Sean McVay, the Rams head coach, and it was during like one of the media days. And so for the Super Bowl, like you have media come in from all over the world, right? So like there's all these people, and so I was able to interview Sean McVay. Actually, you know what? I'll take that back. My favorite one was Kobe Bryant. He was at the Drew League, and this was when he was hurt, so he wasn't playing. But he walked off the court. He was leaving, and everybody mobbed him on the court. So he was just surrounded by like all these people. And I was trying to get an interview with him, but it was tough because everybody was there. They were trying to get autographs and take selfies and all these things or whatever. And so through the crowd, I asked him a question, and he looked right at me, and he answered the question. It wasn't like a very long answer or whatnot, but that was a pretty cool moment. That was pretty special for me.
Simon?
Have you ever reported for golf?
For golf? Yeah.
Football.
Oh, football. Yeah. So I was able to do the Super Bowl this past season when the Rams won. That was huge. Somebody said the 49ers earlier. I'm a big 49ers fan, so when they actually beat the Rams at SoFi Stadium this year, that was a pretty big deal for me. I thought that was pretty cool. Don't tell anybody though. My bosses don't know that, so I'm telling you guys a secret. But yeah, so I was able to do the Super Bowl. I was there for just about every Rams or Chargers game this past season and the season before too.
Sanaya, have you met any of the Clippers players?
Any Clippers players? Have I met any Clippers players? Yeah, well, I've had the opportunity to interview Paul George and Kawhi a couple times. Norman Powell, who's on the Clippers, I covered him when he was at UCLA, so I met him, in the past a while back. And Reggie Jackson, I had the opportunity to interview him a couple times as well. In the back, does someone in the back have a question? No.
No. Timmy,
Have you interviewed any Raiders?
Any Raiders?
Yeah, any people?
I have not interviewed any Raider. Well, Casey Hayward, when he was with the Chargers, I interviewed him. He's with the Raiders now. But in terms of and then also Derek Carr. I interviewed Derek Carr a long time ago, like when he was still in college at Fresno State. Him and Devontae Adams. I interviewed the both of them when they were still in college. They were playing a game against USC, and I had an opportunity to interview them.
I still like the Giants. I used to.
no.
I have a question. Do you just do you report just locally, or do you travel out to when the like away games as well?
So so very good question. So for KTLA, for example, everything is local. When the Clippers were in the Western Conference Finals last season against Phoenix, Game 5, KTLA sent us out there to cover that game because they were on the verge of elimination. So we went out there and covered that game. As for the Sparks, so they're at home tonight at 7:30. They take on the Dallas Wings. So we do all the home games at Crypto.com Arena. But for the away games, we do them at the Spectrum Studios in El Segundo. So basically, I look at a monitor just like I'm looking at you all right now, and I call the game basically off of TV. So I'm not there in person. We do it right there from a studio, which is a little bit odd because you don't get that energy from the crowd, right? When the crowd's there, they're all excited, and so you feed off of that. So when you're in the studio, you kind of have to try to manufacture your own energy, which can be tough.
Who decides what stories you cover?
Good question. So sometimes I do. Sometimes I pitch ideas to my boss. Other times we have a producer who kind of comes up with the schedule, and he lets us know, what he wants us to do on any given day. But there are some times when I can say, hey, I would like to do this, or how about we do this instead? So it kind of goes back and forth. But normally it's the producer.
I said I used to.
Yes.
When you travel, who pays for it? Like, do you have to pay for it? Or
I'm sorry, I missed that.
When you travel, who pays for it?
Oh, good question. So they pay for it when I travel. And so I may pay for they'll pay for like the hotel and the flight and the rental car if we need a rental car, and then I'll take care of food, and then I can give them my receipts, and then they'll pay me back for it.
Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you so much, Mr. Haylock. We're excited that you were able to share your time with us. I know you have another presentation with Miss Dia's class, which is the 4th grade class. But can we all say thank you? And we're excited to see you on TV or to hear you calling any of the games.
No problem. Thank you so much for having me. And don't give up on your dreams. If anybody tells you can't do something, you just go right ahead and keep doing it. People told me I wouldn't be able to do what I'm doing right now. And so you just kind of got to block out the noise and believe in yourself. So if you have dreams, if you have goals, go get them. Don't let anybody stop you from doing that.
Okay, thank you so much. Everybody say bye.
bye.
Okay. Bye. And then let me just stop my recording this one. Awesome.